Part 70. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 691. When she got out of the car, she seemed to look back and the car drove away. She was carrying a handbag and exuded the aura of keeping strangers away. But she turned her cold eyes to the side and found an electric car parked on the side of the road. The rear mirror of the electric car looks very bright. She walked to the rear mirror of the car with an expressionless and meticulous look on her face, and used the mirror in the rear mirror to change her face. From a straight face, he instantly turned into a smile, then became a bit silly, and then became a bit arrogant. Then changes again and becomes like a hottie. She deliberately put down 2 strands of hair, and then raised her silver pink nails, looking like a real hot girl. It seems that today's acting was also very successful. She said this with indifference. But I do have this talent after all. However, when I said this sentence, it became even more cute. It's like switching personalities, she's very good at it. Beep. However, when she picked up the pink phone, she was suddenly stunned. Because she didn't know when she saw a boy appear in the mirror. The boy stood behind her. Then the boy still held up his mobile phone. Hayasaka AI. Hey. Thinking quickly, Hayasaka AI instantly turned around and showed a cute smile to the boy behind her. And Oreki looked at her smile. Then he raised his phone in front of her without hesitation, and snapped a picture of her at that moment. The fluctuations in expressions or personality switching are really amazing. Hasaka-senpai, Oreki said. I didn't expect you, who looks like the hot girl in school, to be such a cold person by nature. Hayasaka AI. Hayasaka AI immediately realized that the entire process he had just done was seen by the other party. And even the initial expressionless state was seen. She was studying in Hideki Academy, but not really for studying. She was there as a valet of Shinomiya Kagaya. While Hayasaka AI was stunned, Junior Oreki had already picked up his phone and took more than a dozen consecutive photos. No mercy. Chapter 328 Action. Hello. Suddenly a dozen photos were taken, and Hayasaka AI quickly reacted. She behaved like a lively hot girl in school, and she was also a classmate with Kagaya-san. And her true identity is actually the maid of Kagaya Shinomiya. She was the maid who took care of Kagaya when she was a few years old. And now that Kagaya has entered Shichi High School, she also goes to school for the convenience of taking care of her. However, Shuiki Academy is not an ordinary academy, so in order to protect Kagaya and prevent her from being slandered, the way she enters the school is to hide her identity. And she just came out of Shinomiya's house, and she immediately had to play the role of a hot girl. Result. The scene was seen immediately. If she was exposed, she wouldn't be able to easily collect other students' opinions or information about Kagaya-san. The Shinomiya family is at the top of this world. As the maid of Shinomiya Kagaya, Hayasaka AI needs to learn or have mastered many things. First, the brain thinks quickly. After discovering Oreki taking a quick photo, her first reaction was pill. Because normal people would be surprised to see her different attitude from the school. Where would it be like this, taking pictures? And if the photo is seen by others? Very bad. Allah. Hayasaka AI decided to try to see if there was any way to deal with the current situation. She usually starts to change into a hot girl image in the car. It was a bit delayed today, but who knew we could still meet students here at such an early hour? Because Shinomiya Kagaya is a close attendant, she will know all the information about everyone who is close to Kagaya's classmates, or who is related to Kagaya. And the boy in front of me. Oreki Houtarou. In junior high school, he was suspended for a period of time because of Otomo Kyoko's incident. Then Kagaya-san and Fujiwara-san, who were still in the high school, discovered this and gave him a hand to help him successfully enter high school. Then after entering high school, he was recruited into the student union as the accountant of the student union. But the other party hasn't come to report yet. As Kagaya's first intelligence officer, she knew the truth about the Oreki incident. He also knew that the boy in front of him would not compromise in order to protect Otomo Kyoko's campus life. But he is obviously an upright and good junior, but why? He would pick up his cell phone without hesitation and take random pictures of her. Hayasaka AI was shocked. Allah! Hayasaka AI smiled cutely. Isn't this first year Oreki-senpai? Shinomi Yasan told me about you when we were in class, Hayasaka AI said. Hasaka-senpai just got off the Shinomiya family's car, Oreki-senpai said without changing his expression. Hayasaka AI. Hayasaka AI. The expression on Hayasaka AI's face remained unchanged, but her inner expression froze. Because the junior fellow student in front of her exposed her instantly, which showed that he was not only smarter than everyone thought. At the same time, he also has areas where he needs to use her. That's why I took pictures, and then, as evidence to control her. Hey. What's going on with this guy? He's so smart now, so why can he be so passive when it comes to Otomo Kyoko? According to his current thinking and ability, he should be able to defeat Agiwara in minutes. Rather than needing Miss Kagaya and Senpai Fujiwara to rescue him. Hayasaka AI's expression remained unchanged, but her inner activity was extremely intense. She was shocked now. Because judging from Oreki's performance, he is a very thoughtful person, and he has very high methods. It was as if she had received the special thinking enhancing training she had learned. Hayasaka AI's face remained calm. But I was already panicking inside. Because if it is confirmed that Oreki-senpai is such a thoughtful person, then there is no need to consider whether he can solve Agiwara's matter. It's her side that's going to be in danger. As a valet of Kagaya Shinomiya, she also acts for Miss Kagaya. If her relationship with the eldest lady is exposed, not to mention the relationship she is currently maintaining with other people, there will be problems. There is just no way to collect information in the future. Yes. If his relationship with Miss Kagaya was exposed, who would casually tell her the information? This is a big failure of Hayasaka AI's spy war. Is it okay to go there for a little while? Hayasaka AI suggested. What she was pointing to was a small alley on one side. Because now she and Oreki are still on the street. Although there weren't many people around, there were still some. In fact, her mood was complicated when she was suggested like this. Because this is just a temporary measure, how can I get Oreki-senpai to hand over the photos on his phone? Then how to make him not reveal the relationship between her and Kagaya-san in school? The two of them have now reached the alley. Oreki-kun. And Hayasaka AI smiled. Your life in school may not be easy now. Although Shinomi Yasan and Fujiwara-san brought you to the student union. It's just that the students in your class still have a very bad attitude. So, do you need help? I'm pretty popular in school, so I can help you talk. Hayasaka AI said with a professional smile. Because when she said this, her mind was actually spinning very fast, and she was also thinking about why Oreki was taking pictures of her alone. It was obvious that she had no enmity with him. So if you analyze it carefully, it means that he is in a bad situation. So he needs help. In this way. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 692. Then just follow his wishes. Make the deal. That's what Hayasaka AI was thinking. But Hasaka-senpai is really perceptive. Yes, I need to restore my popularity, Oreki said. After all, everyone in my grade is hostile to me and spreading bad words about me. This is really terrible. And I was kicked out by my father yesterday. If I continue in this state in the future, plus I am just an adopted son, then I will probably be kicked out after graduation, and I will not even have any good job prospects. He said. But Fujiwara-senpai has agreed to date me. With Fujiwara-senpai's help, my negative image should be dealt with quickly. After all, if it's really that bad, doesn't it mean that Fujiwara-senpai is blind? Oreki-senpai said. Hayasaka-ai. Hayasaka-ai looked to the side. Her mind started spinning rapidly again. So, why bother her now that you already have a solution to the current problem? Or is the current scene too troublesome? Just throw Oreki over the shoulder or hit his head. Let him lose his memory. Or, it doesn't work. Hayasaka-ai hesitated. Oreki looked at her quietly. The smile and fake smile on Hayasaka-ai's face has subsided. He already understood that the photos he took were a big trouble for Hayasaka-ai. And she was smart enough to understand that he was taking pictures of her for some purpose. So, what kind of methods would the mate of the Shinomiya family, the most powerful family in the world, use to deal with such an emergency? Oreki Houtarou was a little curious. It seems that I have nothing to exchange with you, and Hayasaka-ai suddenly took action. She said. Originally, I wanted to help you change your image and make your campus life more fulfilling. But now, if it is like this. Hayasaka-ai suddenly raised his eyes. Her eyes are beautiful, clear and agile. But now Hayasaka-ai suddenly reached out to Oreki. This is a fighting stance. Is this to use violence against someone who has exceeded the limits of human beings? To be honest, he was a little disappointed. But Hayasaka-ai had already held his hand at this time. Oreki's face was expressionless. He is now waiting for Hayasaka-ai to hold his hand and then use his strength. As long as she uses violence, he will treat her the same way. Think so? Oreki was suddenly startled. And this was his first shock after coming to this world. Because Hayasaka-ai actually grabbed his palm and pressed it on her top. The pads of the fingers and the palms of the fingers immediately felt a wonderful touch. Hasaka, senpai. Oreki looked at her in astonishment. But Hayasaka-senpai's cheeks were raised at a 45-degree angle. She was shorter than Oreki, so she could look directly into his eyes. It's really an amazing place for you to see. Hayasaka-ai said. But you can't tell outsiders about the scene now. Although there are not many pedestrians on the street now, what if I suddenly screamed that I was raped? Oreki-senpai, who has a negative image to begin with, will die directly from society. Saying this, Hayasaka-ai showed an evil smile. And what she is doing now can indeed be said to be evil. And Oreki was shocked. What was shocking was not her current reaction, nor how bad the situation would be once Hayasaka-ai yelled at her. But he has experienced this kind of thing. Isn't this the method of the Kushida-san he knew? So Ai Hayasaka, are you also using Kushida behavior? But so what is the final outcome of Kushida Kikyo? Oreki-san felt like his mind went blank. But do you know? Miss Hayasaka, Oreki said suddenly. Hayasaka-ai, whose name was suddenly called, didn't react yet. But she soon felt it. She had pressed Oreki's hand over on purpose, so at least she had to leave fingerprints. Otherwise, if there is a real stalemate, nothing will happen on her side and the other party will not be able to die socially. That's why it's needed. But she quickly realized something was wrong. His hands, what on earth are they touching? Hayasaka-ai couldn't resist at all. She immediately backed away with her arms folded in a defensive posture. Because she never thought that her acting skills were so high, and then someone discovered her relationship with Miss Kagaya. So no one like Josiang has considered how to deal with it if the relationship is exposed. So it was very rushed. But she is actually very simple. Oreki looked at his hands. What did you want to say just now? He asked. Well, Hayasaka AI is a very smart person, at least smarter than Kushida-san. Just now she was just panicking, but now she was panicking to the extreme, which actually stimulated her thinking. She just wanted to threaten Oreki-senpai, and the method she used was to press fingerprints. But something is wrong. She was defeated first. But when she was panicking, Oreki suddenly held her left hand. Before she could react, she found that her white palm was held by the other party, and then pressed against the other party's clothes, etc. Wasn't this move what she just did? But Oreki just let her press for a moment and then let go of her hand. Okay, Oreki said. If you talk nonsense about me and you, then I will also talk nonsense. You pulled me into an alley and then misbehaved with me. Then there are even fingerprints on the clothes. Don't think it's incredible. You have to know that there is a camera on the corner of the street, so our entrance to the alley will be photographed. And you were the one who brought me in just now, right? So the current situation is definitely not good for you, Hayasaka-senpai. Oreki said slowly and unhurriedly. Ah! Hayasaka AI instantly felt the suffering of the world. This person, so did you mean to see the people in the alley just now on purpose? To plot against her? So is everything in his script? How terrible! Hayasaka AI originally wanted to struggle again. But she raised her eyes and looked at Oreki's smiling expression. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 693. Ah! If we don't reconcile here now, then this person must have a backup plan. Hayasaka AI. The expression on her face changed in this way. Finally, she took a small step back. Then he lowered his head slightly. So what do you want me to do for you? If you don't have a purpose, then you definitely won't spend time talking to me here on purpose, Hayasaka AI said. You are very smart, Junior, Oreki said. I do have something I need you to do. I have found Chika Fujiwara and am dating her. She is a popular figure in the school and can directly increase my popularity. And Hayasaka-san, you are also very popular in school. He is everyone's friend. So I was hoping you could give me a kind word. Acceleration pushed my reputation in a normal direction, Oreki said. Hayasaka AI. Hayasaka-san. It was obviously Hayasaka-senpai's just now. Although she thought so, this request was not too much. It would be better to say that it was many times lighter than the terrible consequences she thought. Hayasaka AI nodded gently. I'll do my best, she said. Okay, Oreki said, it's done, I will delete the pictures on my phone. Hayasaka AI. Yes. Then Hayasaka-senpai, please go out. I'm waiting for Fujiwara-senpai here. It won't be good if she sees you. Hayasaka AI. Forward. This is being driven away. Even with this thought, Hayasaka AI walked out of the alley. Soon, Oreki also walked out. Then wait under the telephone pole. Not long after, Chika Fujiwara arrived with her sister Moha Fujiwara. Chika arrived with her sister Moha. Her family has a good family background, and Kinhua is also the student council president of the high school department. As for Sister Chan, she's actually not bad either. She serves as the vice president of the student union in the junior high school. Both are excellent. But in contrast, their family's tutoring is also very strict. Pocket money needs to be controlled, and various things are not allowed to be played. For example, games are not allowed to be played, romance novels are not allowed to be read, etc. As for taking the bus to school, it would be allowed, but it would not be allowed to go directly to school. Instead, We stopped about 1 kilometer away from the school. Then let them walk. That's why Oreki met them here. Good morning, Fujiwara-senpai. And Moha-senpai. Oreki stood under the telephone pole and greeted them. As for Hayasaka Ai, she has quietly left. Because her mission was to take action when the 1,000 flowers was dispatched. Then she doesn't need to talk to Kinhua now. Because Hayasaka Ai's disguised identity in school is not suitable for exposure. Well, morning. Kinhua was originally talking about something with her sister Chan. After discovering Oreki, her face turned the color of bitter melon. Because she remembered that she had to date this boy. Fujiwara-senpai, have a spirit of service, Oreki reminded her. Ah, yes. Indeed. Kinhua remembered that she had received money from the other party. The tutoring was too strict, and she also wanted to go shopping with Kagaya, so she needed a wallet to support her. So Oreki-senpai is the wallet. And if you use the other party as an ATM machine, it looks pretty good. If he thought so, Oreki-san instantly became handsome. Etc. Handsome. Kinhua suddenly opened her eyes wide. By the way, you got a haircut. Eyes are exposed. She stared at Oreki with curiosity and surprise. Originally, with Oreki's hairstyle, the black hair would cover half of her face, making her look very gloomy. But now. But it's quite refreshing. And the eyes are dark green, looking deep and clear. If Oreki-senpai is said to be ugly, no, I can't tell it at all now. Isn't he a completely handsome type of handsome guy? Is this strange? Oreki thought it was strange that she was so rare. Rather, when he was getting ready to rest last night, he noticed that his hairstyle was gloomy and his bangs almost covered one eye, so he went to get a haircut. And he had seen his face many times and didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Only. Boom. Isn't it unusual for such a handsome type? In terms of looks alone, he can already beat many boys at the same level. In other words, the appearance is probably similar to that of a class or school hero. Kinhua felt that her heartbeat seemed to have accelerated a bit. If it was for money at first, but now, well, when I see a handsome guy who matches my appearance, I am indeed a little moved. Then let's go, Kinhua said. She directly hugged Oreki's arm, and the two of them headed to school together. Above board. For everyone to see. Quickly. Because of Fujiwara-senpai's performance, I passed many classmates who were also walking to school, including classmates. The classmates instantly showed their shocked eyes. President Fujiwara, do you have a boyfriend? Who is that boy with dark green pupils? Is there such a person in our school? Could it be that he's a transfer student? Oreki noticed that there seemed to be something wrong. Chapter 329. There is no silver royal bank in this world. Oreki-san reacted quickly, and the classmates in the class didn't seem to recognize him. If you can't recognize it, then there's no point in acting. Fujiwara-senpai. Oreki called Fujiwara-chika. Oreki, Kinhua looked over. She is already working hard in acting. Does that mean her acting is not realistic enough? Because we are already dating, shouldn't you call me by my name? Oreki said. Kinhua. You just called her Fujiwara-senpai. Houtarou, but Chika reacted quickly. She immediately showed a cute smile and hugged Oreki-san's arm. This immediately sent a message to the surrounding students. President Fujiwara indeed has a boyfriend. At the same time, my boyfriend is still a transfer student. Moreover, Oreki, and then Houtarou, that means the transfer student's name is probably Oreki Houtarou. Wait a moment. The class Oreki belongs to is first year class D. Finally, some students in class D reacted belatedly. Could it be Oreki Houtarou? Oreki Houtarou's strength first classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 694. Liar. But the eyes seem to be all dark green. The one eye Oreki usually shows is also dark green. The students finally reacted. The boy walking with Fujiwara-senpai, President Fujiwara, is their classmate Oreki Houtarou. Really? This is probably the reaction. However, Oreki and Chika walked past them without changing their expressions, and then went straight into the school, causing the students staying on the roadside to follow them quickly. Troublesome things will probably happen next, Kinhua whispered as she walked into the corridor of the school. She was often confessed, and although she didn't think anything of it, once it was announced that she was dating a boy, trouble would probably continue to arise. Just like just now, she felt that she was about to become the first person to be noticed in the school. Obviously it was Kagaya-san who got the attention before. Isn't this great, Junior Oreki said. Fujiwara-senpai has become a popular figure. I guess you like the attention. I hate it. How could I like this? If it's with Kagaya-san. Kagaya here refers to Shinomiya Kagaya. Oreki has read Kagaya-sama's manga. Chika Fujiwara in it can form a CP with anyone, but in the end there is no CP. But they often say that if it was Kagaya-san, even if only one person was rescued, she would still hope that Kagaya-san would survive. So this guy is probably bisexual. Of course, it's also possible that Kagaya-san is so cute that people fall in love with her regardless of their gender. But this kind of thing is not important to Oreki-san. He just gets the job done. Moreover, when he mentioned Kagaya's words, Oreki immediately thought of Shirogane Goyoki. By the way, what position does Bien Yuxing hold among the members of the student union? Oreki's mission is to oust Fujiwara Chika from the position of student council president. The most suitable person to be the president is Bien Yuxing. So to put order out of chaos, it probably means returning everything to the way it was in the plot. But Shirogane Yuxing? As for Bien, I only know that Zyogui's surname is Bien, but there is no one with the surname of Bien in our high school. Kinhua looked at Bai in confusion. Are you sure there is no Shirogane Goyoki? Oreki said. Definitely not, because I have memorized the roster of high school students. When I ran for student council president, I had to canvass for votes, so I had to have all the student information, and if I encountered difficult people, I had to deal with them. So isn't it normal to have information about all the votes? Chika Fujiwara said. Stop talking about your shady election story. But there is no Silver Royal Bank. Oh. That's it? So something is wrong with this world. In addition to Chika Fujiwara becoming the student council president, isn't the male protagonist of the original novel not there? Because they arrived at school and were in different grades, Oreki and Fujiwara Chika were separated in the corridor on the first floor. He returned to his first grade class D. However, sitting in his seat, Oreki-san held his chin with his left hand and looked out the window. The mood is slightly complicated. Without Shirogane Yuxing in this world, it would be difficult to find someone suitable to be the student council president. It's just possible without Bien Yuxing. Because when she was talking to Bai Yinghui, she didn't mention her brother at all. Therefore, the task of ousting Fujiwara-senpai from the position of student council president had to be replanned. But he could feel the curious eyes of the students around him. Rather, they were already whispering. By the way, he actually sat at Oreki's desk. Is this guy really Oreki Houtarou? I didn't expect Oreki to be so handsome. Moreover, he came with President Fujiwara this morning. The second grade students are spreading the news about their relationship. I couldn't accept it for a while, the students whispered. From their relationship to whether the current Oreki is the Oreki they knew. Still, there must be a mistake somewhere. This is definitely not Oreki, a classmate said. This is Oreki Houtarou, Our classmate, a girl wearing round glasses, walked in from the front door and said to her classmates who were whispering. "How can you be so sure?" A classmate looked over. It's impossible for a classmate to admit his mistake, but the girl with round glasses calmly returned to her seat holding the book. This girl is the big Buddha and little bowl. Oreki is currently using Ishigami's panels. In the original work, Ishigami, in addition to Otomo Kyoko's affairs, there is also a Daibutsu Shaobo who silently supports him in his interpersonal relationship, and then there is also Ino Yako who is like an enemy. And when I think about it, is that a lie? Oreki, you guy is dating Fujiwara senpai. A girl with long brown hair and a school uniform sleeve with the word Fengji on her left hand hurried in from outside. Then he came directly to Oreki-san's desk. The other person's appearance is very cute, but his personality is a little more serious. But now, there is a state of fanaticism. This is Ino Yako. He is also a fan of Chika Fujiwara. She has always misunderstood Ishigami in the original novel, and now that Oreki is using Ishigami-used skin, she probably also has a bad impression of him. But the classmate whom I had a bad impression of actually got together with my idol. This kind of news was too torture for her. It was Fujiwara-senpai who confessed her love. If you are dissatisfied, then you can go to Fujiwara-senpai to object. However, you are not the kind of person who casually interferes in other people's relationships, Ino, are you? Oreki said. Why is this? Ino was shocked. And Big Buddha Shaobo quickly took Ino away. Apart from being a silent supporter of Oreki, she felt that he would definitely be understood. At the same time, she is also best friends with Ino. Oreki also found that after Ino was taken away, the students in the class surrounded him. He seemed to be torn between wanting to ask but not being able to. And these are the effects of Thousand Flowers. Probably because he wanted to ask about his relationship with Kinhua. It should be said, this relationship is close enough. Because Chika directly hugged Oreki's arm when she came to school. We are not blind. So the first reaction was, these two people are dating. And the general development is Oreki, why are you dating Chairman Fujiwara? Oreki, are you worthy? But none. The reason is that Oreki is very handsome now. A handsome man is like wearing a light bulb, it is difficult to blacken him. Rather, some girls in the class looked over in shock, feeling that they had made a mistake before. There are two other classmates who were Oreki's classmates in junior high school. Now I am beginning to have some doubts about the authenticity of his beating Agiwara. Because Oreki's appearance is much better than Ajihara, so if they were Otomo Kyoko, they might choose Oreki's side. After all, he looks handsome. Speaking of which, Oreki, was it really President Fujiwara who confessed his love first? A boy said to Oreki. Well, then now, she thought I was always gloomy and bad, so she asked me to cut my hair, Oreki said. This is it. All the students confirmed that the handsome boy in front of them was indeed Oreki Houtarou. And it is true that I dated Chairman Fujiwara. Jingle bell. At this time, the bell rang, and the classmates had to return to their seats. Oreki. Because there is a transaction relationship with Kinhua. So there is no problem in letting Kinhua suffer a little loss. Because he also has to pay the price to the other party. Oreki feels that the current interpersonal relationship has almost been restored to normal. At least, no one mentioned anything about Agiwara and Otomo Kyoko now. Then what needs to be considered is the task. Only. Apart from Bien Yuxing not appearing, are there any other problems in this world? Some. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 695. It seems that Oreki has not looked back, but there is a girl with brown hair sitting in his back seat. The other person has a good figure and wears a pair of glasses. It doesn't look like much, but it can be confirmed that this is definitely Futabariyo. In other words, it's not just the lack of people in Kaguya-sama's world, but also the addition of others. Oreki quickly checked the system's tasks. There are also instructions for arriving in this world in the first place. Congratulations to the host for arriving in the parallel world. This is a special parallel world that can only be reached except for missions. It is mainly based on the light novels that the three hosts have read. In other words, we have reached a parallel world. But it is not simply Kaguya-sama's world. Then there are the tasks. Congratulations to the host for triggering the main mission, bringing order to the chaos. Mission requirement, turn the illegal plot back to the right direction. Task requirement, remove Chika Fujiwara from the position of Student Council President. Mission period, 3 weeks, 1 day has passed so far. Mission progress, 0%. Remarks, the host identity system automatically arranges for you Ishigami. The progress of the task is 0. Is this Oreki? Then you do this question. After class, the students were curious about Oreki, and the teachers also discovered that Oreki-san had changed his image. At first he was confused that there was no transfer student in his class, but then he found out that this was Houtarou Oreki. So he started asking him to answer questions. At the end of the first period, Oreki's desk was still surrounded by people. And then the second quarter too. But in the third quarter, no students finally came. Although dating Chika Fujiwara was big news, the news would pass, and Oreki had time to breathe a sigh of relief. But this also shows that Chika Fujiwara has many fans. So is it really good to oust her from the position of Student Council President? Will others agree? You must know that if there is no Byeonyuxing in this world, then there will be no one to be the president. It doesn't seem like a dilemma. Because Oreki thought that in addition to Fujiwara Chika being a celebrity in the school, Shinomiya Kaguya was also a celebrity. At the same time, her popularity was also due to her family background and her excellent performance. Academic ability has always ranked first. At the same time, he won various awards, large and small. And then also ranked among the best in physical skills. Very excellent. Is recognized as a genius. And her family background is also very terrible. She is the eldest daughter of the Shinomiya family who can shake the country. His father is the head of the Shinomiya family. It needs to be mentioned here that although it is a fusion world, the teaching materials at Chichi Academy are 0.5 times more difficult than what Oreki studied at a Kyosei high school. Then there are two parts to the composition of students. One is the son or daughter of a well-known and wealthy person. Their families will provide resources, so they use the resources to transfer people. Then in the first 2 years, assessments were also conducted. Zyozi Academy is divided into kindergarten, elementary school, junior high school, and university. Students there can be promoted directly. But with the assessment, some bad students will be eliminated. So now all those left are academic masters. Then the school also provides a part of the quota to recruit students from ordinary family backgrounds, but the requirements of this part of the students must be abnormal academic ability. So the academic level here is very high. Then the teaching materials will naturally not be simple. And this time, Oreki, you are finally getting over the past. A voice came from behind him. And this is Ryo Futaba. Oreki once told Kushida in a Kyosei high school that he had few friends, but he had the type he wanted. That is Ryo Futaba. Ryo Futaba is a young pig-headed boy who will never meet a bunny girl. He is the close friend of the protagonist. It will not develop into a romantic relationship, but the depth of friendship can reach between life and death. Very valuable. It is a friendship that will never deteriorate. And Kushida also complained that this kind of friendship is simply impossible. So friends like Ryo Futaba are just ideal types. Result. This ideal type really exists. Rather than doing Fujiwara-senpai's mission, Futaburiyo was right behind him, which made Oreki-sen even more uneasy during these 3 classes. Chapter 330 Is Hanami Ichino's also there? And Oreki-sen once had a friend, Hanami Ichino's, who was a true angel who looked the same on the inside. Then he also hopes to have a true friendship. But it's a pity. I learned from the precognitive dream that the friendship between Ichino-san and him has deteriorated. It's like losing a friend. And now, Oreki found that the most suitable person to be a friend appeared. This feeling may be like getting the opportunity to open a treasure chest, and then opening the best gold treasure chest. Oreki, you are finally getting over the past at this time, a voice came from behind him. There is no doubt that this is Futaburiyo's voice. After discovering Futaba, Oreki quickly searched for the memory fragments distributed by the system, and then quickly sorted it out and understood that the copy world he was in was composed of 3 small worlds. What can be confirmed is that Kaguya-sama wants me to confess, but the other 2 worlds are not yet clear. But now, the appearance of Futaburiyo makes people feel more pressure. Because Futaba comes from the world of a youthful pig-headed boy, Oreki remembers that in this light novel, extraordinary puberty syndrome appeared. Because of inner problems, young boys and girls can cause various phenomena that go beyond daily life. Therefore, Oreki thought he was coming to an ordinary world, but ended up being buffed. For example, maybe there is an invisible bunny girl senpai sitting on the table right now. Only. Oreki felt a lot more relaxed. Because Futaba is the best friend that everyone wants. And if you can become a close friend with her, then, everything will go smoothly. So, originally, it was a complicated task to oust Fujiwara Chika from the position of student council president. Fujiwara Chika helped him. Although it was a transaction, it was a bit unkind to drive her away like this. Therefore, the more humanitarian way is to let others drive Chika Fujiwara down. In other words, let the person who wants to be the student council president launch the attack. It's just that the person most suitable to be the president is not available. If it is Shirogane Yuxing, almost as long as he makes a little assist, the other party will start working hard. After all, the other party has the determination to become the student council president. So this task can be very labor-saving. But because of Bien Yuxing's absence, the difficulty of the task increased. Someone else has to be chosen to be the student council president. The most suitable person at present is Shinomiya Kaguya, but Shinomiya Kaguya is not easy to conquer. But now if he can get help from his close friends, he feels that the task can be completed quickly. After all, everyone knows that quantum mechanics is indecisive. Anything can be double-leafed. Then Oreki learned from the memory fragments that Futaba and the skin on the stone he was wearing were actually classmates for 6 years. She started studying at Zyozi Academy in elementary school, and then moved up step by step. Then it was a coincidence that they were all in the same class. Result: we have been classmates for such a long time, but today is our first conversation. But if you analyze Futaba's words, you will find that Oreki, you are finally coming out of the past. The word coming out of the past shows that she knows the truth about Otomo Kyoko's incident. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to talk about coming out of the past. So this sentence means that he has moved on from protecting Otomo Kyoko. Observation is indeed very strong. And if she could be born in Oreki's world, then maybe she could get a rating and become a classmate in incubation high school. But Oreki turned around and looked at Futaburiyo's face. Her facial features are delicate and her pupils are clear without fluctuation. Wearing glasses on the bridge of his nose, if Daibutsu Shaobo wears glasses and feels a little unrevealing, Futaba seems to be rational. It gives people a temperament that if they participate in scientific research, they will definitely achieve success. Only. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 696. Futaba seems to have a very low sense of presence, even a little deliberately. Her school uniform was one size too big, hiding her figure somewhat. And Oreki probably understood this. Both Sakura-san and Hospi have similar characteristics. Because they are so well developed, they easily attract the attention of the opposite sex with strong hormones. They don't want to be looked at and treated as unique beings. Then Futaba was wearing a uniform that was one size larger. In other words, Futaba usually has such worries. Certainly. This is not because the other person talks to you and then thinks about the other person's figure or the reason why his life is affected by his big R. Because I have a new goal, Oreki said. I want Fujiwara-senpai to step down as student council president. Oh, Futaba nodded. So. Do not understand at all. Futaba thought she could finally have a conversation with Oreki, but in the end, she couldn't understand it at all. She and Oreki Houtarou have been classmates since elementary school. Then we were in the same class in junior high school. At the same time, she is also a person who is relatively sensitive to other people's eyes. She discovered very early that although Oreki Houtarou looks gloomy and always has his bangs covering his eyes, he is actually a handsome guy. As long as you unbutton the school uniform shirt, your sexy collarbone will be exposed. Overall, he is a very attractive guy to girls. So when Oreki was in junior high school because she was jealous of Otomo Kyoko and Agiwara's relationship, and then beat Agiwara, she suspected that if Otomo Kyoko didn't have a flaw in her mind, she would definitely not choose Agiwara but Oreki Houtarou. As a result, Otomo Kyoko seemed to completely defend Agiwara during the incident, so it can be confirmed that Otomo Kyoko definitely did not know that Oreki Houtarou was a handsome guy. Yes. That thing revealed an oddity. Based on her analysis, coupled with the collected reviews of Otomo Kyoko and Agiwara, and the fact that she would occasionally see the two of them going to the hotel when she went home, she probably guessed the truth. Probably Agiwara wanted to cause trouble, and then used Otomo Kyoko as a threat, and then Oreki beat Agiwara angrily. In other words, you did something just. But some inside stories need to be sealed, so Oreki has been silently enduring misunderstandings from the outside world. Then when he got to high school, he seemed to be misunderstood by the outside world without any explanation. Even though they were in the same class, some students in the class were his classmates in junior high school, so his story was widely publicized, and he was gradually isolated. And he had no reaction to it. But now. But he came to school with the popular Fujiwara-senpai and even made a high-profile move, which was very unusual. Futaba comes to the conclusion that he is clearing his identity and moving on from his past. That's why we had the conversation just now. But you used Fujiwara-senpai to increase your popularity, but in the end you were about to remove Fujiwara-senpai. Is there anyone in the world who is so shocking? Futaba, what do you think is the best way to oust Fujiwara-senpai from the position of student council president? I want to use gentler means. Of course, the premise of this mild method is to be the most energy-saving. I don't like troublesome things, Oreki said. Futaba. Futaba found herself being consulted. But she has no interest in student union affairs at all, and she doesn't have much opinion on who the student union president is. But to oust a student president. The student council president himself made mistakes and was dismissed, or he was looking for someone who wanted to be the student council president and added fuel to the fire, Futaba said. Then if you want to save energy, do it yourself. Well, I probably think so too, Oreki said. It would have been the easiest thing to find Shirogane Goyoki, the student council president in the original work, but now Shirogane Goyoki is not here. Then you have to find someone else. Shinomiya Kagaya is difficult to conquer. If you want to conquer it, you will need to spend more time and energy, but that doesn't mean it can't be completed, because he also has Hayasaka-san who can change his face as a weapon. But in this case, it is not the most labor-saving. So, the most energy-saving one is the one given by Ryo Futaba. Go on your own. If you do it yourself, you won't have to go through the steps of conquering others. And he also has resources here. Fujiwara Chika is dating him. Although it is fake, everyone agrees that it is true, so he can gain some of Chika's popularity. At the same time, he is wearing the stone epithelium, and he has the help of the big Buddha and the small bowl with a high degree of favorability. In addition, he also has the identity of an accountant who was invited to the student union by Chika Fujiwara and Kagaya Shinomiya. Although I didn't report it, this position has always been there. After reporting, you can get the position of student council member. According to the ordinary process, if Kinhua does not make mistakes and does not abdicate by herself, but now it is the second semester of the same grade, and the term of the student council president of Ziozi College is 1 year, but the student council president is allowed to be re-elected. Only basic elections will continue. With Chika Fujiwara's popularity, the election seems like a fool, but if you start from this election that ordinary people think is a fool, you can achieve good results. But it is a pity that the election will be held at the beginning of next month, and that time is no longer the 21st day of Oreki's mission, but the 25th day. The task deadline has been exceeded. After thinking about this, Oreki-san looked at Futaba Ryo. What? Futaba was stared at by his dark green pupils and felt a little frightened for no reason. Although we have always been in the same class, this is the first time we have such direct communication, Oreki said. Ino and you have always been classmates, but Futaba Ryo said this. Is it? In the original work, Ino is Ishigami's official partner, with a strong sense of justice, a bit lustful, but also unexpectedly innocent. The reason why Ishigami was saved by the senior student council president was because she went to complain to the principal. I feel that the school's punishment for Ishigami is too severe. The result was heard by the principal of the senior class, who then informed the senior student council. Eventually it attracted the attention of the student council president, and then the truth about Otomo Kyoko's incident was found out. Then let Ishigami be promoted from junior high school to high school. Otherwise, he might have been assigned to another school by this time. I know Ino's favor, Oreki said. But Futaba, have you found any friends since you were promoted to high school? This is really an exaggeration. Listening to Oreki's words, Futaba Ryo couldn't help but frown. Because this is like revealing that she has always been transparent and has no friends at all. I've always believed that you don't need many friends, just 1 or 2, Futaba said. At the same time, my requirements for friends may be higher. So, your current friend position is still being recruited, right? Oreki said. Futaba. She confirmed that Houtarou Oreki looked handsome after cutting off his bangs, but his personality became bad. So Oreki-san didn't know that his evaluation in the eyes of Futaba-san had dropped, and he continued. I'm also looking for a friend. So, how about we team up? Futaba. Ha. These words made Futaba almost want to push up her glasses with her hands to see what strange thing this Oreki-san was thinking about. Because of team formation. I have a hunch, Oreki said. If I become a close friend with you, then no matter what trouble I encounter, I can solve it easily, and I can get the answer from you for any problem I encounter. Very energy efficient. Futaba. Futaba felt that this was definitely not a friend. If you only have this superficial view of friends. Although Futaba said this, there was no way to completely deny it. She is currently in Ziozi Academy. Most of the students in this college come from very privileged families, and they are even influenced by adults' interests and the smell of copper. Then, I also received various trainings from my family very early, which is a bit like a little adult. Full of social feeling. So. That's why there are so many people fawning over Shinomiya Kaguya. It is true that Shinomiya Kaguya is a genius, and at the same time, she is extremely outstanding in archery, mental competition, and academic ability. Ordinary students simply cannot catch up. However, what is really attractive about her is that she is the eldest daughter of the head of the Shinomiya family. The Shinomiya family is currently the largest family power, and can even influence the prime minister and so on. So as long as you make good friends with Kaguya Shinomiya, as long as you can build a relationship, you can be sure that your family will benefit and your future will be bright. I just said that if we become close friends, then each other can benefit from the other. Of course, friendships need to be maintained. The important thing is to put the other person in a position of importance. So, Futaba, if you are in danger or encounter difficulties, even if it is 12 o'clock in the middle of the night and you only have a bicycle at hand, we will rush to you at a speed of 50 km per hour, Oreki-san said. Futaba. Although she felt that Oreki Houtarou's statement had always been exaggerated, Futaba was touched by the other person's statement about riding a bicycle in the middle of the night at this moment. Because she also feels that true friends can do this. However, she was just about to speak, but she found that the next second, Oreki Houtaru came directly to the window, and then jumped out of the window. Oreki Houtaru jumped off the building. Oreki Houtaru's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 697. There is only one reason why Oreki-san would do this. He saw someone who shouldn't be here. Chapter 331. A unique confession. If I like you, I will jump off the building. Now that he has seen Futaba, there is no reason to let him go. So Oreki-san tried to win her over and become a close friend. Certainly. Because he is a close friend, he cannot just be a superficial friend, so he will tell some of the reasons why he needs her, and this is the truth. It's very hard for someone like Kushida-san to be a little angel on the surface but a dark angel behind the scenes. Emotions build up and then need to be vented. Oreki-san doesn't want to be like this, so he would rather reveal his true side to Futaba than hide it. And from the conversation just now, it can be found that Futaba-san seems to be still recruiting close friends. In other words, I haven't become friends with the male protagonist and Kunimi Yumo like in the original work. So there is an opportunity. Only. He had just started to fool Futaba, but his eyes suddenly stopped. His seat was by the window, from where he could see the playground below. But he suddenly saw a pretty girl with long golden pink hair walking across the playground. This girl with long golden pink hair is very beautiful. Of course, the most attractive thing is her inherent affinity. And this affinity, as well as the other person's appearance, Oreki-san has seen many times. Rather say, it's impossible to forget. Because this is Hanami Ichino's. At the same time, Hanami Ichino seemed a little distressed, because although she was friendly, she had probably just finished her physical education class, and she was alone on the playground preparing to go back to the classroom. Then, in Oreki's sight, a girl began to run towards Ichino's, and then talk to Ichino's. The two began to communicate. But the girls in the same class around them turned their attention to them and quickly moved away. Then they continued to chat about their own topics in small groups and walked towards the classroom. It can be seen that the two of them seemed to be excluded by their classmates. Oreki-san has very good eyesight and can see very far. Can confirm. What can be seen in the sight is indeed Ichino's Hanami's face, Ichino's familiar golden pink long hair, and then, Ichino-san's figure. But why is Ichino-san here? Oreki-san checked the system again. Congratulations to the host for arriving in the parallel world. This is a special parallel world that can only be reached except for missions. It is mainly based on the light novels that the three hosts have read. Three worlds merged into one. What is known is that Miss Kaguya wants me to confess that the young pighead will not meet the bunny girl. These are two worlds based on light novels. Result. Oreki saw the familiar Ichino-san. If Ichino-san is here, then that means. In fact, maybe the training high school Oreki-san and the others attend is just a light novel? This sudden thought made people's heads freeze. But Oreki noticed the system update prompt. Congratulations to the host for triggering the side mission, Ichino's Hanamai was excluded. Mission requirement, make Ichino's Hanamai visible. Task requirement, remove Chika Fujiwara from the position of Student Council President. Task duration, 30 minutes. Mission progress, 0%. Task reward, the main task period is extended by 10 days. Mission failed, none. This task. Oreki stared at the task. The rewards of the mission can extend the main mission, which means that if the side mission can be completed, the time to oust Chika Fujiwara from the position of Student Council President can be extended. If extended for 10 days, you can participate in the election of the new Student Council President. So you can act step by step. But Oreki just glanced at this place and did not continue to pay attention. After all, he has discovered that the Ichino's classmates in this world seem to be excluded. He couldn't turn a blind eye to this kind of thing. Although the friendship has deteriorated, Oreki-san still has a good impression of Archangel Ichino's. And the task deadline is very short, only 30 minutes. 30 minutes can make Ichino's Hanamai shine. How to do this? Oreki-san likes to save energy, so he must choose the most direct and effective solution. And now Ichino's can shine. Ordinary solutions can make her stronger and more dazzling. Oreki's plan was that it would take a long time for her to shine, which would definitely exceed 30 minutes, so he could only share part of the light with her through other methods. So who can do this kind of person or thing that attracts attention with its own light? For example, Shitan Kaguya or Fujiwara Chika can definitely do it. However, Oreki is not familiar with Shinomiya Senpai, but with Fujiwara Senpai, he is now in school, and Fujiwara Senpai may not be able to satisfy his request immediately. So, there is no immediate hope for these two people. So there is no one else? Actually there are. Oreki became dazzling because of Fujiwara Chika's operation, and the negative impact of the Otomo Kyoko incident that he had been carrying before immediately disappeared. So now he is actually very dazzling. Then if he does something dazzling and involves Ichino's, she will also become prominent. So, how to do? How can you be dazzling and attract attention? Really? For young men and women, this is the only thing that can become a topic, and then the students who eat melons will immediately pay attention to it. That's love. Oreki had withstood 3 waves of bombardment from his classmates in the morning, wondering whether he and Fujiwara Senpai were really dating. And this is the topic of love. So, just bring Ichino's into the topic of love. So what can be done, is to confess your love to her in 30 minutes while she is on the playground. So, without any hesitation, Oreki-san opened the window and jumped directly from the window. Be prepared to confess your feelings to the other person. Obviously when he was in a Kyosei high school, Oreki rejected Archangel Ichino's many confessions. As a result, now I have to eat this bitter pill. Hello. In addition to Futaba, there were other students around, and they were shocked when they noticed Oreki's behavior. This is the 3rd floor dash. However, such exclamations stopped just as they happened. Because they found that Oreki jumped directly from the window, which looked extremely thrilling, and they thought he couldn't think about it, but in the end, he landed dexterously like a cat 2 seconds later. It seemed to be buffering on the ground for a second, and then ran directly to the playground. The classmates who had already exclaimed looked at the scene and instantly became unable to express their expressions. Because this is so magical. This is the third floor. You jump off the building but act like a normal person. Are you a cat? Futaba-san was the one who received the greatest impact. Because she was still preparing to talk to Oreki-san, but she found that he jumped off the building in front of her. A classmate jumped off a building in front of him. This experience was too terrifying. Futaba couldn't react for a while, but when she reacted, she found that she had misunderstood. Because Oreki Houtarou did not jump from the building, but landed firmly. It's like taking the front door or the back door too slowly, so just jump off the building to be faster. So, she couldn't understand Oreki-san at all. Even Hanami Ichinose, who was in the playground downstairs, was stunned for a moment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 698. Her family is very poor, but she was able to enter this school because she studied hard. The conditions provided by the school are very good. As long as you pass their high school scores, you can be invited to join the school. Among them, tuition is free, and school uniforms are also free. This means you can go to high school for free. This is a good thing for the poor Ichinose family. Ichinose also worked hard and passed the exam. But after passing the exam and becoming a member here, she realized that she was young. Because I am a top student, but other students in the class are also top students. Rather, she discovered that she had obviously good grades, but ended up at the bottom of the class. At the same time, Ziozi Academy used to be an aristocratic school, and it has always absorbed the admission quota internally, although in recent years it has begun to recruit ordinary students. No family background or anything like that is required. But it requires results. It was only after entering that I found it difficult to integrate into their circle. Because most of the elementary and junior high schools are under Tsuji Academy, each other's cliques have been established very early. Can't plug in at all. The aristocratic students also dislike ordinary students, and even bully them frequently. Although Ichinose always smiled at him, he still felt that he was out of tune with this school. And it's a pity that she may not be able to take advantage of her in the eyes of other students. After all, everyone relies on their family background to see people. Ichinose regretted this, but she would not complain about her family being poor. As long as it can relieve some of the burden on her mother, she thinks it is acceptable. Therefore, despite being ostracized, Ichinose-san has become calm. But seeing someone jumping off the building in front of her, she was still stunned for a moment at this scene. The students screamed, and she looked over subconsciously, and then she saw a boy jumping directly from the window on the third floor, and then landed as if nothing happened. Then he rushed in front of her at a speed that was barely human. Ha! Ichinose. How will you be here? Ichinose was very surprised. He obviously jumped from the building and then ran quickly, but the opponent's physical strength was terrifyingly strong. Not panting at all. Who are you? But Ichinose-san looked confused. It's better to say that you just seem to have jumped from a building. Is there really nothing wrong with your health? Ichinose Hanami said. Oreki. It seemed that Ichinose didn't recognize him. But what cannot be changed is that she is still a kind person. Rather than Oreki suddenly jumping in front of her, she first considered the other person's body. It can be confirmed that Ichinose is still an archangel. But you don't know me, Oreki said. If I'm not mistaken, are you Oreki Houtarou, a first-year Class D student who went to school with President Fujiwara this morning? Ichinose said, seeming a little embarrassed. And the tone was heavy and unconvincing. Is it? Oreki was absolutely sure. This was not the Hanami Ichinose he knew. Although they all exude the aura of an archangel, the Ichino's classmate he knows is more confident than the current one. Currently, Hanami Ichino's is wearing the same black skirt uniform as Fujiwara senpai and Hayasaka Ai. The uniform was wrapped very tightly, with only a small portion of his wrists and calves exposed. But undeniable. Even though I don't know Hanami Ichino's, her legs are still very good looking except for the black stockings she wears under the same uniform as everyone else in school. Excuse me for disturbing you, Oreki-san said. No. Just as Oreki was about to leave to collect his thoughts, he suddenly remembered that he was still on a mission. So he looked at Ichino's and then took half a step back. Then when I thought he was going to do something, I suddenly saw him bowing towards Ichino's. Raise your left hand. Ichino-san, I have liked you for a long time. Please date me, he said. Ah. A student was just following Ichino's, and at first she also saw a student who seemed to have jumped off the building. But surprisingly, the other party was completely fine. Then run directly towards them. Then you can see the other person's face. He is a handsome type of handsome guy. And this handsome guy is the boyfriend of Chika Fujiwara, the student council president who caused a lot of rumors in the morning. Oreki Houtarou from Class D, 1st grade. Suddenly she saw such a famous person approaching, so she got out of the way. As a result, she was right to get out of the way. Because I didn't expect it to be a development of confession. But when she was suddenly confessed, Ichino-san seemed at a loss, which meant that she had not expected such a development. There's no need to reply to me right away, Oreki said. This is my number. Just get back to me in 3 days. With that said, Oreki-san gave her a small note, then turned and left. A confused Ichino was left behind, along with his equally shocked companions. And the other side. Class D, 1st grade. Oreki jumped off the building. Wrong. He went to find a girl from Class B of the 1st grade, that girl is very beautiful. I didn't notice it before. Hush, that's a student from the outer courtyard. His name is Hanami Ichino's. Oh. But Oreki seems to have bowed to that girl. Wow, that's a confession. He confessed. The classmates were leaning against the window. But when she saw her classmates coming over, Futaba had already left. But she left after making sure that Oreki was okay after jumping off the building. But Oreki Houtarou actually wanted to confess his love to a girl, but then he was so anxious that he didn't want to take the right path and took a shortcut. What's this? In other words, is it love at first sight? Futaba learned from the other party's mouth that the other party was dating Fujiwara Chika in the morning. It was actually a cover to gain his popularity. And he still has some ambition to oust President Fujiwara from the position of student council president. So, do you really like this girl from grade A, class A now? Chapter 332. Oh no, President Fujiwara, you're green. After Oreki finished his confession, he walked straight across the playground and started walking towards the teaching building. To be precise, he was discovered by a passing teacher. He was shocked when he saw him jumping off the building, so he was taken to the life guidance room. Prepared to let his class teacher educate him. Because it was the end of get out of class, there were still students on the playground. At first, everyone was shocked when they saw someone jumping off the building, and some even wanted to find the teacher. It turned out that the student who jumped from the building was completely fine. Moreover, he was the most popular person in the morning, and students immediately paid attention to him. Then he jumped off the building and was fine. What was he going to do? Result: I confessed my love directly to other girls. This development even stunned the students on the playground. Because aren't you dating Chairman Fujiwara? Or is it just a rumor that I dated Chairman Fujiwara this morning? Or is it actually cheating? Rumors and news spread very quickly, and the story of Houtarou Oreki, a first-year Class D student, jumping off a building to confess his love to a girl from another class has already spread in his class. And here in second grade, Chika Fujiwara and Kagaya Shinomiya were in the same class, and the last class in their class was math class. It's time for Get Out of Class to end. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 699. There has been some noise outside since Get Out of Class ended. But it doesn't matter to Kinhua. She is focusing on Kagaya-san. Shinomiya Kagaya is the eldest daughter of the head of the Shinomiya family. Her family background is many times better than hers, but Chika does not judge people based on their family background. Otherwise, she wouldn't have played with her younger sister, Bai Yinghui, who came from a very poor family. She felt that Kagaya was not very good at expressing herself. Although she was kind at heart, she always showed others with a cold look. So many people could only watch Kagaya-san from a distance. And Chika feels that if she can't stay by Kagaya-san's side, then Kagaya-san will be alone. This is so pathetic. So, Kagaya-san looks cold, as cool as ice, and hard to get in touch with. But to Chika, this is just a sign that Kagaya doesn't know how to express herself. As long as you use enthusiasm and endurance, it is possible to melt the ice of Kagaya-san. Therefore, she would come to Shinomiya Kagaya after class every day. Kagaya-san, do you want to go pick flowers together? She took the initiative to invite Shinomiya-san. In fact, it was a bit regretful, because today there was a lot of news about her coming to school with Oreki-senpai, but Kagaya-san didn't show any concern. In other words, don't you regard her as a good friend? Don't you take it to heart? So she still has to work hard. And thinking about it? Fujiwara-san, are you dating Oreki-san from first year Class D? Kagaya-san turned around and said. Oreki's junior classmate from Class D of the first grade, whose full name is Houtarou Oreki, is from the Ishigami family. Last year, because the principal mentioned the other party's affairs, the two investigated Otomo Kyoko's affairs, and finally went to the other party's house and fished him out. Then Kinhua gave the other party an accountant position after he entered high school. But the other party never came to report. However, when I went to Oreki's house, Kagaya-san was also there. So Kagaya knows about Houtarou Oreki. In the morning, rumors about Chika and Oreki's juniors spread widely, and everyone was talking about it. But Kagaya-san didn't show any special attitude, as if there was no need to discuss other people's private matters. But now, was Kagaya-san really paying attention to her affairs? The reflex arc is too slow, Kagaya-san. Well, I think Junior Oreki is a pretty good person, so. Kinhua said. In fact, it is a fake relationship. What Oreki-senpai needs is to improve his interpersonal relationships, and she can get more pocket money here. It's a win-win move. However, Chika didn't want to hide Kagaya's classmate, so she was ready to find an opportunity to tell him that it was just a fake relationship. Then you might have been cheated on, Shinomiya-san continued. Because he seems to be confessing his love to other girls. Kinhua. Ha. Fujiwara-san, Oreki-san just confessed his love to a first-year girl on the playground. It seems to be a girl named Ichino's Hanamai from Class A, first year. On the other side of the window, a classmate had already reminded her. This made Kinhua quickly come to the window. Then I saw Oreki Houtarou leaving a girl with a good figure and long golden pink hair. It seemed that he was caught by the teacher and was taken away. But was he confessing his love to another girl just now? Oh. She knew that there was a lot of noise outside just now, and then the classmates around her looked at her a little strangely. At first in the morning, I thought it was too unexpected that she was dating her junior. Some people said that Oreki's junior had a bad reputation, but if he was attracted to her, there must be some misunderstanding. Overall, Oreki senpai's reputation is still rising. It can be considered that the goal has been achieved. But now she is the one being pitted by everyone. Day. Oreki Houtarou, you stinky junior are doing something outrageous. Is it teasing her Chika Fujiwara? Although it was a fake relationship, Oreki Houtarou's good looks were not bad, so even if they pretended to break up peacefully later, she would not be said strange things by others. After all, there is no shame in dating such a handsome guy who also has good intentions. And what Oreki said is right. She calls herself a love detective and is the student council president. Some classmates also come to the student council to ask about love-related matters. She has absolutely no experience, how can she give advice to others? So Chika also had the idea of pretending to date Oreki senpai and gain some love experience. But now such a handsome guy cheated on her in public. Kinhua felt that her reputation had dropped instantly. She must be considered a miserable woman. The whole person is going to turn green. I'm going to the staff office, Kinhua said quickly. She felt that if the matter was not dealt with quickly, she would be called the cuckold president tomorrow. At this time, Oreki-san continued walking towards the faculty and staff office. Then teacher, let's go back first. When I arrived at the office, students just walked out of it. It's 3 girls dressed up as hot girls. The school ethos of Shichi Academy is relatively strict. Even the hot girls are not allowed to dress up too much. However, from Oreki's perspective, their skirts are 5 centimeters shorter than ordinary girls, and they also wear bubble socks. He also wore headbands on his wrists. At the same time, stickers will be placed on the face. They are all expressions of hot girls showing off their individuality. But the girl who took the lead, Oreki, knew it. The other party has a single golden ponytail and looks very lively. And this is the Hayasaka AI he caught in the morning. It was probably like collecting homework from the teacher, sending it over specially, and then handing in the homework and getting ready to go back. As a result, the 3 of them met each other. Go in, the teacher who was with Oreki said. Oreki-san then passed by 3 hot girls. Only. They could be heard discussing quietly. By the way, are there any handsome guys like this in our school? The dark green pupils are great. That's Oreki Houtarou from Class D, 1st grade. He's the junior student who was rumored to be dating Fujiwara-san this morning. Then Fujiwara-kun is quite discerning. But why were you brought to the office? And the teacher's tone was not very good. Does it mean that love is no longer allowed now? The control is too strict. Because I had already entered the office, the sounds I heard were much quieter. Oreki was taken to the guidance room. So, what happened to the student? Said a female teacher in the office. This guy just jumped off the building. What? So is there anything? The female teacher said quickly. If something goes wrong, we have to be responsible. This year's half-year bonus will be distributed in half a month, and I don't want anything to go wrong. Very true. It seems fine. His skills are good, but we must avoid this situation, said the teacher who brought Oreki over. Yes, fortunately everything is fine, the female teacher breathed a sigh of relief. And which class are you in? The female teacher said. 1st grade Class D, Oreki Houtarou. Oreki said. Okay, then you stay in the guidance room for a while, and I will contact your class teacher to come over, the female teacher said quickly. At the same time, I feel lucky, because this is a 1st-year student, and she is a 2nd-year teacher, so if there is any problem, it is also a problem with the 1st-year faculty and staff. It would be better to say that this guy Yosuji didn't figure it out and brought the 1st-year students to their place. Oreki-san entered the student guidance room. The room is not big, only about 10 square meters, with 2 sofas and a table inside. He sat down on a sofa and waited. Then he closed his eyes, seeming to be waiting for his class teacher to come and pick him up. But drop. Congratulations to the host for completing the side mission. Ichino's Hanami's dazzling plan is complete. Main mission, to bring things back to order. The term of student council president who dismissed Chika Fujiwara has been extended for 10 days. There are currently 30 days left in the deadline. At this time, Oreki heard the sound of high heels coming from the corridor outside the guidance room. It seemed like someone walked in on high heels. Not only are the high heels, the other party also has a bit of rose-scented perfume. It tastes like an adult. The student who jumped off the building. That's you. Oreki Houtarou-san. It also opened my eyes, the other party said. Is your physical fitness really that good? Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 700. Generally speaking, students in their own class will be worried or scolded if they are suspected of jumping off the building. But this teacher used eye-opening rhetoric. In other words, this teacher may not be orthodox. With that in mind, Oreki looked over and saw a familiar face. The brown tail is wavy and smooth shoulder-length straight hair. He has exquisite facial features, a cute smile on his face, and dimples when he smiles. The eyes are light blue and very beautiful. And Oreki knew this face. It's Hashinomi Yachiet. Oreki. Is his class teacher in this world actually Hashinomi Yachiet? From the system, we can know that this world combines people from 3 worlds and is considered a comprehensive world. In addition to Kaguya-sama wants me to confess and the pig-headed boy will not meet the wild bunny girl, I also met Ichino-san. Then it is natural that some other people from the Nurture High School may appear. Result. What I met was Kushida-san's plus version of Hashinomi Yachiet. Oreki-san feels that his luck is not very good. When I was in a Kyosei high school, I knew that this Hashinomi Ya teacher was not a White Lotus, but Kushida-san's type. And Oreki traveled through time and space and came into contact with the opponent in high school. At that time, the teacher of Hashinomi Ya was also quite utilitarian and bitchy. I thought there wouldn't be any big contact, but, now the other person has directly become his class teacher. But now, the main mission has not been completed and there is no need to have a stalemate with the other party. After all, Oreki's search for memory fragments had no special contact with this homeroom teacher. So, he stood up and said, I actually didn't jump off the building. It was just because I was so excited to see the girl I liked, and then accidentally fell down the stairs. Quiet. The place where Oreki-san is staying is not the separate guidance room in Hashinomi-ya, but the staff office. The door of the guidance room is open, and there are about a dozen teachers outside, and there are also 3 or 4 students who come to hand in their homework. The voices of these people who were still talking disappeared after hearing Oreki-san's speech. Because it's too exaggerated. How can I see a girl I like falling down the stairs? But Oreki-san said without changing his expression, I'm also very scared. Then by sheer luck I found out there were no injuries. Then he ran in front of the girl he liked. Confess your love. And was rejected. The office instantly became quiet again. Some people are already trying hard not to laugh. It's funny enough to see the girl you like fall down the stairs while distracted, only to confess your love and then be rejected. That's too bad. The teacher at the Star Palace was stunned. Just 4. In love. And failed. Oreki-san made a regretful expression and nodded, yes. I'm sad. Ha 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 ha. The teacher in the office couldn't hold it back any longer and burst out laughing. And Oreki also knew that the latest explanation for his jumping off the building would soon be released. Confessing to Ichino-san is a mission requirement, and it is also true. Then, Oreki is also thinking about the interpersonal relationships of Ichino-san in this world. She is a student from an external college, and she was admitted through her grades. Students in the outer courtyard will be looked down upon or even excluded by students in the inner courtyard. But her appearance is not bad. In other words, it is possible for a boy to like her, or even confess her feelings to her, or even want to bully her, a student from an outside college. After all, she is a poor student with no one to rely on, but most of the students at Chichi College are the children of rich and powerful people. Although I don't think Ichino-san is easy to capture, he can still be harassed. Even coercion. So Oreki's direct admission of his confession to the other party can be regarded as a protection. If someone is targeting her, they must at least get past him first. If anyone wants to express harassment to her, then everyone should come to him. He took them all. And this is what he can do for the other party for the time being. P.S. It was terrible. I had a splitting headache for 2 days. Now I feel better and I continue to type. Chapter 333 Futaba wants to rebel. Because of his dealings with Hashinomi Yachiya, Oreki knew that this teacher was the plus version of Kushida-san. So Oreki-san listened to the other person's teaching words honestly. Avoid getting interested in him because it's clear this guy is trouble. Only. Oreki-san seems to be quite interesting at first, but he is also obedient and a bit boring. At the end of the lecture, she concluded. So in this world, Hashinomi Yachiya is also a bad person. There is a bad class teacher, I don't know if he is good or bad. But contact with bad teachers is not without its benefits. At least Oreki-san got the roster of the entire school from Hashinomi Yachiya. Because it was a fused world, he had to check if there were any acquaintances. And now we are holding this roster. But when he returned to the corridor of his classroom, a student wanted to put his shoulder on his shoulder and laugh. Oreki. You are famous. You are so brave. Haha. Your declaration was circulated in the office, I laughed so hard. Why do you feel that you won't die by jumping off the building, and then your luck will soar, and then you go to other girls to express your love? What's the reason for cheating between life and death? You are too strong. Oh. That's it? As expected, his confession to Ichino's Hanamai has spread out of the office. The playful classmate quickly noticed Oreki's expression. Oreki, why are you so calm? Aren't you afraid that President Fujiwara will come to settle the score with you? After all, you have cheated. Even if it is between life and death, cheating is still cheating. This classmate felt very curious. It's just that he may not quite understand that Oreki-san no longer panics about cheating. Rather, even Sakayanagi-san has acquiesced that he is either cheating or on the way to cheating. He. Just when Oreki was about to reject the child, he found that Futaba, who had brown hair, glanced at him, then raised his finger and pointed in a direction, and someone was walking in that direction. The boy who was talking to Oreki also noticed the person walking from the corridor. By the way, President Fujiwara is here. Oreki-kun, I wish you good luck. The boy said, and then quickly pulled away. Oreki looked over and saw 2 rather eye-catching girls walking towards them. One has straight black hair. He looks as cool as ice, but his facial features are extremely beautiful, and his eyes are very beautiful, like ruby. The other one has pink hair and is extremely friendly and lively. Just a black bow hairpin on her bangs. This is Shinomiya Kagaya and Fujiwara Chika. As they walked in the corridor, the students around them immediately got out of the way and looked at the 2 of them quickly like pilgrims. Not only are they the president and vice president of the student union, but they are also the type that ordinary students can only look up to. Especially Shinomiya, whose family background is the best in the school. As long as they can get in touch with Shinomiya's classmates, gain a little favor from them, and then support their family a little bit, it will be a gorgeous takeoff. So you can often hear Shinomi Yakun, I picked you up on the playground before. My family is Ryoko Foods. Shinomi Yasan, I spoke to you at the last banquet. At that time, I said that the food here is delicious. My family is Nezuno Heavy Industries and other words. It looks a little ridiculous, but it is probably to impress Shinomiya Kagaya on their family. Everyone is very realistic. But it's not just them. Another classmate followed them. Following Chika Fujiwara was the discipline committee member Ino Yako, who had the word discipline pinned on the cuff of her left hand. Ino is Ishigami's happy enemy in the original work, also known as CP. But she admires Fujiwara Chika very much and is a fanatical Chika fan. And now, even ordinary classmates know that Oreki-san is cheating on her. It's weird that she's not with Fujiwara senpai. So, he probably led the way directly.